Okay, so this is not a religious war or racial war. This is a spiritual war, a war of energies. Not just the masculine, feminine, the light and the dark. You know, the whole yin and yang idea. And the reason that pops into my head for the Eiffel Tower, it's got a base of 4, right? Well, I looked at it from the point of view if it was like Maleucine or something like that. The whole idea, when two become one, the light comes on. That can mean man and a woman coming together, or the energies of masculine and feminine coming together. So it could be in the physical, one man, one woman, or one woman, one man, but one's going to have more dominant traits of the energy than the other. It still has to balance out in some form. But you can do it within yourself as well, because we all carry masculine and feminine. So when two become one, the light comes on. It gives you a whole access to certain things, knowledge, especially if both partners or people or the individual themselves are aware of how the spiritual side of things works. Now, something came up that was concerning, and I have to be very careful how I word this so I don't start any controversy too much. So I'll try to keep it as informative, but not starting no wars or nothing like that. Okay. Start off with the war that happened in Germany, the German war, how a specific leader or whatever, his ideas, where they came from, were based off of certain religions. His ideas of cleansing entire races and having superior races ridiculous, for one. And the way that person went about it was absolutely horrific and barbaric, and I'm sure everybody can agree. A lot of people find it difficult, and it's a trigger for a lot of people. People get like in an uproar when they talk about certain things like this, but certain things need to be talked about. So when I said that this specific person that started that upheaval, that war, that massacred tons of people, especially the Jewish folk. He got a lot of his ideas from specific religions. The swastika, I don't know if you know what the swastika is. Swastika. There is a base from where that came from. There's 2 directions. It's directional. The swastika can go in one direction, which is abundance, it's a good thing, like calling in good, and then there's the opposite direction. I would say that Hitler himself kind of ruined that. I believe that the swastika originally was meant for peace, Most people know this. It's available online. You can see where that comes from. It's supposed to be a symbol of peace. And I think India uses, I don't know if they still do, and a lot of other countries use this symbol. Now, a concern I'm having right now is there are some countries taking in foreign individuals that either have nowhere to go or that have chosen to migrate. India itself is very populated, and they are not shy at all when it comes to the sacral and how that works in the procreating, and many of them are aware of how energies work. And they believe in their deities and their gods, and they are fully aware of the capacity and the knowledge that they carry within them. Unfortunately, there are specific people, mainly men, I'm going to say, not to be biased, but as a fact, that use specific knowledge, just as our Western civilization, that use specific knowledge against the general people, the opposite sex, anybody who is brainwashed or not familiar. And they've been doing this for a while. Currently what I'm seeing, it's in the 3D, a fight for resources. And there's certain countries that have either used up or are in fear of losing out on the physical resources, yet there is an abundance worldwide for everybody. There's no need to fight for any of it. And we also co-create this reality and can make it even more abundant. That's not even a question, whether or not that's possible. But what I'm seeing right now is strategically, there are certain people coming to certain countries, and I wouldn't say infiltrating, but if it's a spiritual war, let's say, infiltrating certain areas and strategically placing their people, whether awake or not awake, because some people are active, some people are not. Some people are using certain knowledge, gifts, or abilities against other people to gain whatever it is that they seek, and some are not. Some have no idea, and they're very peaceful, and they go about their lives just doing their own thing, minding their own business. And I've noticed specific ones. Specific families that have a wide range of friends, families, connections, acquaintances. You know it. There's a lot of businesses now that are starting to be, I wouldn't say overrun. Like I said, this is not a racial thing. This is just fact. They're starting to be occupied more with one specific culture or one specific people that are going about doing these things. Now, the ones that are awake, I'm noticing that they are able to spot certain people that have a specific glow or energy about them, their signature. I watched this happen, and I've witnessed it happen to myself. They're able to spot specific signatures, and then they communicate between each other the location of said individual, and then they set people up around them to either monitor, sit, watch, or do what's called a pickup. That's what I've kind of basically labeled it as this far. It's like a pickup of energy. So when somebody is vibing really high, and you know, it's not just one culture that does this or one specific group of people that do this. There are other people that do it too, many different people. And I've explained this in some other videos too, of how energy works and how some people that aren't able to heal from certain things, they rather just cut corners and take from other people to fill their cup. But it's only temporary, and eventually the well runs dry for them because they are not able to refill their cup. And some of them go to the extreme to try to demolish the other person's ability to refill their cup, which is weird, because why would you do that to somebody that you're sucking off of? It's almost like destroying the person, the whole idea of the bite the hand that feeds you. Yeah, or, stuff like that. So I've watched how they do a pickup. And what'll happen is a person that's vibing very high, their frequency, right? They will communicate, be on their phone, and the next thing you know, I like to call it the specific ones that carry the silver phoenix. This is not a stab, because anybody could put that in their car or carry that symbol, or rock that logo and not even have any idea what it means. But the ones that do know what it means, there are certain ones that have malintent for other people. They have no interest in healing. They have no interest in providing for themselves their own energy. And from what I see, they just would like to, use up resources, procreate, steal energy, harvest, and destroy anything and anyone that gets in their path. And this goes for many cultures. And when it comes to the spiritual war, what I'm seeing right now, what's happening is strategically they're fanning out, they're kind of taking over. And they're going to specific countries or places of abundance of resource, of abundance of people that carry their own inner light, of abundance of people that want and have healed their past traumas. If you get a bunch of people, let's say, that have huge families, there's going to be more than likely cases and scenarios where people have been abused in reality, and where they've been traumatized. If you get certain cultures that are not so friendly towards their female partners, or women in general, that are very strict and for whatever religious reasons, not your, what do you call that? Not based off of morals or anything like that and how you should treat a human being, but just strictly religious followings, which I don't always agree with, but to each their own. I'm noticing specific groups that are okay with what's happening right now and allowing certain things to go the way that they're going. Some people are completely clueless. They have no idea that this whole struggle for resources, in actuality, we're in a matrix. Everything's abundant. We create our own abundance. And I've been stating this so many times, it's like a broken record player. I repeat myself, because when you're able to create your own light within, when you carry your own light, when you heal, when you connect with your inner child, your highest self, there's cultures and religions that are aware of this energetic connection, that have this knowledge, that have the wisdom to do this for themselves, that, hold this knowledge, and yet they still refuse to heal certain things. Even there are some monks and there are some Buddhists, Buddhism, let me get you, I'll get back to that in a minute. There are some people that have reached specific statuses of enlightenment that have not done any of their root work. Okay, I'll put it that way. That have not healed within their solar plexus, actually, fully. And some of them, I think, have been called out recently, more coming out to the light, because when it comes down to it, push certain things down for so long, but eventually it's gonna come out. The truth will come out. Things manifest outwards. So go back to the whole Buddhism idea. I thought about it. Well, okay, so the statue itself is the laughing Buddha, right? And humor is one of the best forms of medicine, but it's also a mask too when it comes to very painful things, and it's a good way to laugh things off. But when it comes down to it, that whole saying, laugh now, cry later, you need to be able to cry for one, but you could laugh things off to a certain extent. But if you are not going to be going in and healing where the resources for the material, if you're not going to make the effort to mend whatever part of you that you need masking for or that you need healing for, if you're not going to make the effort and you use the chemical release of, let's say, the laughing, right? It has its own chemical it releases in the brain. It can become addicting. And the whole idea of a laughing Buddha, well, he's a nice weighted man. Technically, they have the statue there, right? It's a very heavy man. And in my opinion, the more we consume, the less we're able to resonate, the less we're able to vibrate internally outwards. Because like a tuning fork, you need to give things room to echo within yourself. If you are full constantly on a regular basis of things that may be not so good for you, like the processed stuff, or things that are weighing you down, or your body is retaining certain things and holding on to certain things and it's not being released, there's no flow there. Laughter is a great way to cover it up, but it's not a solution. Not really. You can laugh yourself into the grave, but to experience the pure bliss and joy of reconnecting with your inner child and reconnecting with a higher source through doing any of the root work or the lower chakra work, it's very important in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I've noticed with a lot of countries. I try not to keep too much up with the wars, political stuff. I shouldn't say wars plural because it's really just one right now. It's a spiritual thing. It's coming to a close. It's finishing. Things are balancing out. Seeds have already been planted. Things are in motion. The wheel is turning. Balance is being restored. And those that are struggling right now to keep the control, to keep whatever control they think they have, it's not going to last for the ones that have been using this knowledge, this wisdom, for fear of looking at their own shadow. It's not going to stop them from having to take a look within. They're going to have no choice eventually. They're not going to have a choice very soon. And I think people are experiencing this right now. I realize this is a more heavy video and it might be controversial, but as I said before, even the worst things that have happened, for instance, what happened with the Germans and the Jewish people, I'm also wondering too, when it comes to, is it Israeli and Pakistani? The two that, which are the two that fight? When it comes down to it, if you're religious too, and the whole idea of how they killed Jesus and they were against him. I've got several different opinions on that because a man that has complete power like that would purposefully make another person go mad to kill themselves is not holy completely. That would mean that they're running in their dark side. Because if you're safe, you are protected, you are a divine being, there is no reason to subject another person, even if they're going to threaten and kill you. You would have no fear of death to begin with, but there is no reason to make them want to harm themselves in any way. So that in itself is a little bit odd, if you ask me. Not that I am vouching for people to nail a person up on a piece of wood, but so that would be so many different things that come into play right now. There are so many things going on, but like I said, religion's just like a cover. It extends far beyond the 3D bullshit. Religion's just like a sad excuse for control of mainly men who have been severely hurt, that refuse to do any healing and demand to take over and control things around them so that they do not have to face or integrate their shadow, and so that they remain safe in their minds. So we got a lot of grown children, mentality-wise, that have been fighting these battles. And right now what we're experiencing, I truly do believe it's more on a spiritual note. But unfortunately, we still have to realize the 3D, 4D is kind of active here. You know, it's still around, right? I'm gonna wash my face. But yeah, there's a lot of things that come into play with that.